Welcome to Unboxed Conversations with Reema. Today, our guest is Rajat Kapoor.
So yes, understatement and refinement are the keynotes of his performances. Whether he's playing a pedophile in Monsoon Wedding or a perceptive relative in Dil Chahta Hai, or a man divided between ambition and family loyalty in Aankhon Dekhi, or the sophisticated counterpoint to Vinay Pathak's craziness in Bheja Fry. But Rajat Kapoor is also 3-time National Award winner who has directed shorts, documentaries and films, theatre productions like Hamlet the Clown Prince, and he's a writer and a man who quietly but firmly succeeds on his own terms in the entertainment industry. Thank you, Rajat Kapoor, for talking to us, and welcome to the studios, or to the show basically.
Thank you, Reema.
Share your first cinematic memory with us.
First cinematic memory, how does one know that? I don't know, I started watching films at a very young age with my dad and all. First cinematic memory is hard to pinpoint because I don't know what is the first film.
Or the first film that you loved.
Hollywood films with dad. You know, those days the war films were very big. So they used to make films about the Second World War, Battle of Britain, and me and my brother used to get very excited by those, the planes and tanks and bombs, and they were a clear favorite at one point at a very young age.
And the first film that you thought, that influenced you so much that you wanted to be in the movies after that, and you said, this is what I want to do.
Again, I don't know if there's one film like that, Reema, because, like everybody else, I grew up watching Bollywood mostly, and the first two big films that made a huge impact, I think, were in '73 when I was 12 or 13. Bobby was one, and Diwar was the other one.
Oh wow! And what was it about the two films?
Bobby, because of a sexual fantasy that is conveyed and a love story.
Right.
And Diwar for Bachchan and dialogues and anti-hero and the man as one should be, all of that.
Yeah.
Great fantasies for adult films, I think.
Right.
And they made a huge impact. I was crazy about these films.
Right. You chose to tread a different path from the kind of cinema that you had grown up with, and you joined a theatre group called Chingari in Delhi, and then you went to FTII. What were the influences? Who are the people who shaped your sensibilities as an actor and a filmmaker?
Having spoken about Bobby and Diwar and being overwhelmed by Bollywood like all of us, I must add that one was also aware of the other cinema even at that early stage.
Right.
I remember when I was 13, in Delhi they used to have to screen all the national award-winning films at Vigyan Bhavan those days. And I remember watching Duvidha in 1974 with my dad. I was 13 years old.
Money Calls
Duvidha.
Yeah.
So, it's quite an unusual experience. First of all, for a regular middle-class man to go and watch a Money Call film, and then to take his kids who are 13 and 12, to watch it.
Right.
So that also must have shaped one's sensibilities in certain ways. And then when I was 16 and went to college, and I joined a film society called Celluloid, where for the first time I saw Godard and Werner Herzog and Fassbinder and Bergman, and that completely blew my mind, to realize that cinema can also be this. And I think by that time I decided that I'm going to make films one day.
Yeah.
Of course, FTI was a great, real learning for the first time besides watching films. And I would say one of our very important mentors for me was Mr. Suresh Chavriya, who used to teach us film appreciation at FTI.
Right.
He was one of the best teachers that we had, and he tried to develop in us a way of looking at films which we were not really aware of before, I think.
Right.
And then in my second year there, Kumar Shani would come for some workshops and lectures, and Mani came a couple of times, and one was overawed by their presence and by their knowledge, and And, in a way, one developed a huge sense of inadequacy, in one's own abilities.
Right.
Because I remember thinking, oh my God, they know so much. And you're a filmmaker, you need to know so much, So it kind of even generated a real fear of one's own abilities. Of course, after FTI, I worked with both of them, with Kumar and with Mani.
Right.
And those were very important the training phase for me.
Right. You also then made your debut as a director with Private Detective 2+2+1, and 1997 was it?
We shot it in 95. It got completed in 97.
Right.
Before that, I had made a short film called Tarana, which got a national award.
Right.
95, yeah.
And you worked with Nasir Saab and Irfan Khan in this film, right?
And Kashmira Shah and Ali Khan and Kenneth Desai and Shambhavi Kaul.
Yeah.
Irfan has a small role in it, but it's one of his first films, I think.
What was it like, the whole experience, and do you have any memories that still come back to you about that film?
Well, we just watched it last week. It's very strange because almost after 20 years after it was made, we had a public screening last week of Private Detective, and it was a strange experience of watching the film now.
Right.
It is full of awkward moments. It is full of bad performances at times. But I remember, now that I look back, I was quite arrogant, I think, at that time as a director. And I thought I knew it all. And I know more than anybody else. It's only later that I realized how little I knew and how little I know even now. And also when I started acting after that, I came to gain a little more understanding of all the insecurities that the actors might face, So I think it helped me in my work as a director also to have acted, and it helps me in my work as an actor to have directed.
Right. And the one thing about you is that there is this continuous need to keep doing things, to keep working.
I know, work is very important for me, and I think if I'm not working even for a day, I feel like I'm dying,
Right.
So, and it's difficult because as a filmmaker, it's very hard to keep working because money is not easy to come by.
I was just coming to that.
So I have to generate work, so I keep writing all the time.
Yeah.
Or I'm doing a play, or we're traveling with a show. So even in the periods when there is no work, I never stop working.
Right.
Mainly because I can write, and I do write, and I love writing.
Right.
So a lot of my time goes in that.
You'd once shared that, Raghu Romeo was financed by sending email requests for money to friends.
Right.
And till date, I remember speaking to you, said that, the challenge to fund films, be it Mixed Double, be it Mithya or Aankhon Dekhi, it continues.
I know. It's just never become easier.
Yeah.
It's become easier, I would say, a little bit. But it's not become easy, that's for sure.
Do you think crowdfunding is the way forward?
Maybe. But I can't do it every time, and I can't not pay people all the time also, I've done enough of that. So people like Rafe and Rasool and Sagar Desai and Meenal, they've been very kind, and they've continued to work with me. But they have to also pay their bills,
Right.
So I can't keep asking them, yaar, ek aur chota film karte hain without money, So crowdfunding, well, eventually if I can't raise money that I need for my next film, maybe I will write something which is even smaller and try crowdfunding. But that is really the last option right now.
Do you think things will ever change because production houses are...
I don't think so. Not for kind of films that we want to make. I don't think it's going to change because our system remains by and large star-based system. It keeps going back to that. Who's in the film?
Right.
So if you have a film with Varun Dhawan, for example, you can raise 25 crores, 30 crores or 20 crores, whatever. If you don't have some known name, then you're struggling to raise 4 crores,
Right.
But I'm not complaining because this is how the industry is, and this is how they have worked forever, and it's not going to change.
Right.
So one has to accept that reality and try and work around it, and still be able to make films that one wants to.
What do you think of the award shows? I mean, you've been to a few.
Why do you ask that?
No.
Well, what do I think of them? They are there. They are there for a certain purpose, and the purpose is television telecast. Yeah, they're quite boring if you're there. But the fact that Aankhon Dekhi was recognized by Filmfare and all that, it felt good in the sense, I'll tell you how, because one has been so marginalized in this industry that any kind of acceptance by the mainstream, even though it's still on the margins, that acceptance, but at least they know we exist. At least they acknowledge, we exist. It's that kind of a thing.
I think they acknowledged you because the film had been in the festival circuit and everybody was talking about it. The social media was loving it.
Yeah, but that is no reason for them to acknowledge it. There are many films like that they don't acknowledge.
Right.
But the fact that it was, I was grateful for that.
Are there any directors that you have really enjoyed working with, people you would like to work with as an actor?
I've enjoyed working with most directors that I've worked with. I have, except maybe one or two, whom I can't name or won't name. I enjoy being on a film set, Rima. For me, it's a real excitement. Just the fact that I'm on a film set with 200 people and everybody going crazy about something. For me, that is real passion, So that's a real high for me. So just the fact that I'm allowed to do that, I'm very grateful for. Who would I like to work with? I don't know. Maybe Anurag, the bastard doesn't give me a role. I would like to work with him, maybe. Who else?
But weren't you in... but haven't you ever worked with him, I think?
I just did one half-a-minute role in Girl with Yellow Boots. I came from the left and went out the door. That was the extent of my role.
Right.
I would like to work with him. And who else? I know I get a lot of work offers, but most of it is quite bad. I had worked with Shapun Batra last year for a film called Kapoor and Sons,
right,
which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then that is a good role in a very mainstream film. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right. So I'll just shoot a few quick questions because I know you're passionate about film trivia. You like going back to classics and revisiting films that you love.
I watch the films that I love a lot of times.
Yeah. So what is your favorite first scene in a film?
Favorite first scene?
Yeah, that an opening shot that stays with you.
My God, that's a very difficult one. Yeah. Oh my God. Let me think about it a little bit and I'll come back to it.
All right. And favorite last scene, the climactic moment in a film, which is really, really lingered and...
I think the greatest last scene in the film is City Lights. Without a doubt in my head, I can say that's the greatest ever. When he meets the blind girl and who can now see. And she sees him for the tramp that he is. Comes to give him a flower and then she touches his hand, she realizes who he is. It's just talking about it moves me, Rima. It's so phenomenal. Beautiful. And he does all this in a silent film, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then she says, it's you. And he nods and he says, you can see. And she says, yeah, now I can see. And that's how what an ending.
Right.
That's the ending of Pyasa, I like very much. Yeah, these are some.
What would you say is the most underrated Hindi film ever?
Well, most of them are overrated. Underrated would be what? Maybe Pyasa? Or is it underrated? I don't know.
Critically not so much, but... Kagaz Ke Phool, I would say.
Sorry?
Kagaz Ke Phool, I think that was really
Kagaz Ke Phool I'm not so fond of. It was not a commercial success, but I'm not so fond of Kagaz Ke Phool. I'm really fond of Pyasa.
Any recent film that you couldn't understand what the fuss was about?
Most films. I don't watch many films, but most of them I see I'm quite underwhelmed by. And I wonder what the first is about.
Right.
But one film that did come up to all the expectations was Court.
Right.
The one film I really, really like in the last 5 years, I think. Hands out.
What book, if you could adapt it to cinema, would you like to turn into a film?
There was a point when I wanted to do Manohar Shyam Joshi's Kuru Kuru Swaha into a film. This was like 20 years, 25 years back maybe. I had gone and met him also, but he didn't give me permission for that.
Okay. What period of Indian cinema basically fascinates you the most?
50s.
50s, is it?
For sure. I think we made the best films in the 50s. The only decent decade, I think, in history of Indian cinema. And I also feel a couple of things. A, it was black and white. B, they were really serious about the shot taking and cinematography, which all completely vanished once color came in and the zoom lens came in and so on.
Right.
And there were people like Rajat Kapoor and Gurudhat at their peak, and Bimal Roy maybe, Mehboob Khan. And the music is phenomenal of the 50s, from Shankar Jaikishan to Naushad to S.D. Burman to O.P. Nayyar, everybody, every film.
And the lyricists.
And I think also it has to do with the fact that we were a new nation, we just become independent. And there was such a sense of a revolutionary zeal, of a sense of passion and hope that, this world is going to change. All of it translated into cinema of that time.
Right. Who's your...
After that, we became just simply corrupt and cynical and lost all of it.
It's become like a commodity. Do you feel that? It's just another commodity now, not so much art.
Cinema?
Yeah.
Cinema has been a commodity ever since. I mean, even before, but I think except for a brief period in the 50s, it was always that,
Right. Who is your all-time favorite actress, if you would name one?
Favorite actress?
Yeah.
Favorite actress is always tough, yeah.
Okay, a couple then.
I used to be, when in the 70s I used to be in love with Rekha, for sure. But if you ask me favorite actress of all time, I would Anna Karina in Godard's films, Monica Vitti in Antonioni's films. In India, Madhvi Mukherjee, I think, or Shubham Rekha and Charulata.
Right. And favorite actor?
Favorite actors, there are many. From Jack Lemmon to Chaplin, of course.
Yes.
Marcello Mastroianni, Belmondo, Balraj Sahni, Dilip Kumar Saab.
One thing you'd say to someone, and we're just getting to the end of this, one thing you would say to somebody who's afraid of failure because you've let nothing stop you.
You can't be. You can't be afraid of failure and hope to do anything.
Right.
Especially in arts, because this is where you're at your most vulnerable. You are exposing yourself to the world. You're not just making a business plan. You're not exposing an idea, but you're actually exposing your being to the world, and you're at your most vulnerable. Anybody can come and kick your ass, for it.
Right.
And if you're afraid of sense of failure, you would never take your first step.
Right. Do you have any fears at all?
There is a fear every time. There are two kinds of anxiety. There's a good anxiety and a bad anxiety. So, good anxiety is good for your work, and bad anxiety is terrible. So I don't have any bad anxiety, but I do have what is hopefully good anxiety every time I'm doing something now. I'm in the rehearsals of a new play, As You Like It, which opens on the 5th of March.
Right.
So every day there is a kind of a fear, if you want to call it, or anxiety of, is it going to work or not? And is it going to mean anything to anybody? Or, is it going to be funny? Is it going to move anybody? You are dealing with it at an everyday level.
Right.
And still, the only way to overcome it is to trust your instinct and go ahead with it.
Right.
And to realize in the end whether or not it worked.
So have you finally thought of your favorite first scene?
Favorite first scene? Oh man. Opening scene of 8.5 comes to mind.
Okay.
Where he's stuck in a traffic jam and then he goes off on a balloon.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. The grace, the dignity with which you conduct.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
No, it is true, because it's such a it's so difficult to find artists with this kind of commitment and this kind of integrity in a very, very difficult and challenging entertainment industry.
But if you don't have this, then you have nothing, Reema. Then,
but not many people.
Least one can have, because especially people without talent or like us, the only thing one has is integrity. If you don't even have that, then what is left?
So thank you for inspiring us and keeping our faith alive in the arts, and yes, one of the few who motivate us to keep going despite
Thank
the
you.
odds.
You're very kind.
Unboxed Conversations with Reema.